let's go ahead and get this over with. I know a lot of you have been saying to yourselves, hey, what's Jason doing on social media all of a sudden? Why is he posting videos? The guy's been a ghost for 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be. And I'll tell you, over the last few years, I've been dealing with some health issues, and I didn't address those issues in a timely manner. I was going through some things like my sister moving to Florida and trying to cope with that, because that in itself just felt like a total loss. My sister was my best friend, and she moved, and at that time I was already dealing with some back issues. I knew I was having some pain, and I didn't know where the pain was coming from. I spent a lot of time, I'd get off work and I'd go home and I'd just lay on the sofa. And when I'd lay on the sofa, I would sit there and I would eat, and I would binge watch TV shows, and I wasn't watching what I was putting in my body as far as food and snacks goes. And I was just in a depressed state. And part of that was because I'd also spent the last 3 or 4 years before that really running hard. And when I say running hard, I was running anywhere between 15 to 30 miles a week. It just depends on what I was training for. If I was training for a half marathon or a 5K or whatever, because I'm competitive. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it the best that I can. So I really broke my body down. I got in a mental depressed state. I found myself, for at least 2 years, I was constantly dealing with mental fatigue, brain fog, achy joints. At night, I was waking up in the middle of the night, and my hands were tingling, or my arms were going numb, or my feet were going numb. And then I started to deal with inflammation in my feet, and that's where most of my pain started, was mainly in my right ankle. And as I started feeling pain more and more in these different locations in my body, it started registering to me that I need to get it looked at. And then in November, when my sister passed away, I kind of felt like that was an awakening to stop making excuses for myself and to stop feeling depressed all the time, and to get out there and socialize and be more like the person that I know I can be, and the person that my sister was. And I finally made it to the doctor. It's back in, say, December, and I went to a pain management doctor and had some CT scans and MRIs, and we found that I had a herniated disc, my L5S1. They tended to make it sound, more like it was something where we get a couple injections and that works for most people. And I knew what my own pain level was, and it's hard to explain that to people. People view me as a big guy, and they think just because I'm a big guy, I'm strong and I can handle these physical pains. And quite frankly, when you have back pain, people don't understand. You tell them you're in pain, but they don't understand what it is unless they've actually had it. I mean, I've even had friends before that had back pains and that have gone through injections and surgeries and things like that. And I even overlooked their pain and questioned what that was really like until it was actually happened to me. So, it was January, February time frame. I don't keep track of days real good. You got to understand, I'm a busy guy. It's hard to keep track of my days and what was what. But I finally got some back injections. There were some epidural injections, and we were scheduled for 2 rounds. The pain management doctor notified me that, most people do good on 2, and it can last them up to a year, 3 years, 5 years. But there are the cases where it doesn't always work immediately. And I still had a lot of nerve. My back pain went away after my first injection, but I still just really had a lot of bad nerve damage. And I'm talking about sciatic pain that shoots all the way down your left leg, all the way down to your foot, and still dealing with the inflammation in my right foot. Now, my pain management doctor, it's under his belief, his diagnosis, that I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. Now, we still need to go make sure that I get tested for that and everything before we verify that, or we pretend like I have rheumatoid arthritis. But we ended up doing a third injection, and since that third injection, I've been doing pretty good on my back. What has been an absolute wonder for me was I started physical therapy a couple months ago, and I was going twice a week. I'd spend about 2 hours of physical therapy. We'd do acupuncture, stretching, just some general calisthenics workouts. Basically the stuff I used to watch my grandma do all the time whenever I'd go visit her. And I found that the acupuncture was absolutely the number one thing that I was getting out of physical therapy. I was doing really good, and then COVID-19 snuck up on us, and physical therapy right now is limited to I'm only going once a week because they've trimmed us down to a 1 hour time frame. They're only allowing one patient in the building at a time. So I'm not going to spend a lot of money on co-pays and stuff and try to go twice a week if I'm not getting the full benefit of a 2 hour physical therapy. So we're working on, right now in my 1 hour, I'm having my physical therapist stretch me, and we're doing the acupuncture still, and I'm starting to get some pains creep back. That's primarily because I've been really busy the last couple of weeks. I'm spending a lot of time in the truck driving around doing estimates. Now, when I'm at my worst is whenever I'm out doing these estimates, and the problem is it's sitting upright, sitting in a chair. If you've had sciatic pain, you know what this is about. It's absolutely miserable. I can't stand to sit up. That's why I spent those 2 or 3 years in just a vegetative state where I'd get home from work at the end of the day and I'd lay on the sofa and just be miserable in pain and not take care of my body. I also started to diet, and I think this is a big factor to what's going on with me right now, feeling better from this. And I started doing a keto diet. And when all of this started, I was 230 pounds, which is my normal adult weight that I've been for most of my adult life. And just the other day, I weighed in at 199. So I'm super happy with that. And I'm proud of myself for eating right. And I've been fluctuating between that 200 and 203 weight. The diet is going really good now that I'm doing it. I don't have those cravings. And I'm going to make another video, and we're going to talk about the diet more in depth. But I will tell you right now that being on this keto diet or gluten-free or whatever you want to call it, because I do cheat a little bit here and there from time to time, it's really, really the number one benefit is it has helped me with that mental fatigue and that brain fog. And I am tackling my day. I am waking up happy, and I feel so good. I'm still dealing with that pain, like I said. When I'm sitting upright and I'm in the truck, there's some sciatic pain, but it's nothing like it was. Say if it was at a 5 out of 10, I'm down to a 1 out of 10. I have been feeling in the last couple weeks a little bit of that pain coming back in my back, and I'm trying to nurse that. I do take ibuprofens every day. I am having to do that for the inflammation. I'm working on some other things to deal with the inflammation as well. I've started taking an ice bath. I'm trying to do that once a week because I noticed when I went to Broken Bow and I was in that cold water, wading in that water, I felt so good for 3 or 4 days after that. And I really think that that's going to help with the inflammation. Now, the big problem is right now, we need to wrap this up. The big problem is, I can't go do those follow-up appointments. I want to get an x-ray on my ankles and figure out what's going on there. I want to get tested for rheumatoid arthritis. I might need some medications or something to deal with this rheumatoid arthritis, but, I'm surviving, and I'm trying to get that mental state and that physical well-being back in order so I can lead a happy, productive life and everything else in between. And we're going to talk about this much more in depth. Especially, we're going to talk about the diet, and we may even get more into some of the procedures and things that they've done. But I just wanted everyone to know that that's kind of where my mindset's at right now, and that's why I'm doing this. And please like this video, and please subscribe to my YouTube page. We're going to keep doing this, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.